Dear fellow Betfair opportunist, welcome to the Tennis Trading League's 7-day video course. I'm Patrick Ross, and I'm very glad you dropped by into my website. I truly hope you'll find loads of useful Betfair trading advice watching these video lessons. During the next week, you're going to receive one video lesson from me every day in your email inbox, and I'll be telling you about various things related to Betfair and betting in general. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the main mistakes both Betfair trading novices and also experienced lads tend to make. Of course, I will be telling you all this stuff based on my own experience, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure these mistakes are made by the majority of traders, let alone the punters. So, first of all, let's make it clear that I won't be discussing anything in my video lessons from the gambling point of view. It's something completely different to Betfair trading. In gambling, you expect something to happen, or if you have some kind of a betting system to rely on, you expect gaining profit in a long run. Actually, you should never engage in any kind of money-making activities without a solid strategy. However, the old truth that you can never beat the bookies, they always work on overbook, makes it extremely difficult. Unless you're a pro punter, you're useless against them. On Betfair, on the contrary, you're trying to predict the odds movements, and it's a completely different story. You can still incur occasional losses, and you definitely will, but your goal has to be making an overall long-term profit based on general tendencies in the market. So here you are faced with a relatively easier problem: how to predict performance of a particular sports team or a player during the live sports event. There are Betfair traders who trade on odds movements before the sports events have started, but I'm not one of those. I find it much easier to predict how the odds are going to change during live tennis matches than before they start. Anyway, the main principle remains. You have to be able to spot the right moments for opening and closing the trade. The way you do it will depend on the strategy you have in place, your knowledge of the particular sport, and the money movement on the Betfair market. And the risky part of this process is the following. We humans always expect something. It's in our nature to presume that something is going to happen one way or another. It's being experienced to a much greater extent when you can potentially win or lose money. And on such occasions, your natural capability of judging the course of events is severely affected. When punters back a horse and the horse runs into the final furlong, they're shouting as crazy for the horse to win. A great deal of their expectations are put to the test, and they just want the horse to win. On Betfair, you may not want the horse to win the whole race, but to lead at some stage. However, the main mechanism of how your mind works remains the same. You just want the horse to take the lead so that you can lay it off and make the much-needed profit. Well, this is your enemy number one, your expectations. When you're trading on Betfair and follow some trading plan, you always need to have an exit strategy in place, just in case if something goes wrong and you are forced to trade out with a loss. This is a great advantage, separating punters from traders. Traders can minimize their losses when the event doesn't happen exactly as expected. Punters are left with watching as the final whistle is blown and all their money is gone. But a new kind of problem for us Betfair traders surfaces when we look at the trading process. And it's all got to do with the same expectations. When the opposite soccer team scores and your rational mind tells you to lay off the team, to cut the potential loss and leave this trade, your alter ego keeps on telling you, wait, Rooney's going to score right now. And it can last until your losses have become much bigger. The whole loss minimizing thing is very tricky for a human's mind, and I have a very nice example describing it. If you have to choose between small losses of, let's say, £10 or a possible profit of £10, which one you want to go for? Of course, the £10 profit sounds much better. After all, we all trade to earn money, don't we? But now let's think what happens if you stick with your expectations and your potential loss reaches £20. Tracing back this event to the point where you could have chosen to accept the £10 loss, You could have won £10 if you did. How? Simply. Then you'd lose only £10, now you lose 20. It's essentially the same. You would still lose money, but from the future's perspective, you would be a winner. Did I completely get you confused now? Well, go back to where I started telling you this example and replay it until you get the point. Now, this is probably the most important thing for every trader, regardless of the trading market. Always keep a clear head and don't allow the emotions to spoil the long-term trading profits. Whenever the market goes against you, don't hesitate with closing the trade with a loss accordingly to your exit strategies, and you sure need one. Of course, choosing the right strategy is a more direct sort of question, and it would be just stupid to close the trade every time the market goes against you. You have to figure out what is the safe odds range in which the price can fluctuate and when it enters the red zone. For example, when I place a bet on a tennis player and start monitoring the market, I always allow the price to slightly drift out until the situation becomes too dangerous. The player I just backed may be receiving serves in the next game and lose a few points or even a game point. However, until it's not really clear that the opponent is taking the lead, I will allow the odds to drift out. Of course, I always have some criteria to base my trading decisions upon. It would be extremely difficult to earn long-term if I base my decisions only on feelings. In the previous example, if the player's odds moved out too far, exceeding the acceptable odds range, I wouldn't hesitate laying him off, minimizing the losses. Even though I may feel he can pull through, as it often happens in tennis after a lost set, for example, I would trade out. Then I would judge the situation in the market and accept the previous loss, and only this way you can expect to earn nice long-term Betfair trading income. However, there's another point to stress in this regard. You just have to have a certain overall trading strategy in place and take notes as you execute trades in a certain market. Don't try using one approach, then another, and then something completely different. Once you have an idea of what may work for your Betfair trading, stick with it for at least a week to see if it's got some potential. The reason behind it is very simple. There is no strategy in the world that would show you how to make only profitable trades on Betfair. Sometimes you'll lose, sometimes you'll win, but the overall result will show up only after a good number of trades. Some trading strategies are creating profit in a few really profitable trades, balancing out many negative ones. Other strategies will show you how to profit from the majority of trades, and even the losing ones won't make the overall balance negative. But whatever strategy or approach you're going for, try it long enough to see if it works for you, and then master it. And another important advice I can give you about trading on Betfair is keep it simple. You really don't want to tuck your head full of hundreds of possible methods and trading techniques while you don't actually use any of them. Or, on the contrary, you're jumping from one to another. How on earth can anyone expect to make steady income by haphazardly choosing one trading market and method one day and forget about it tomorrow? So the best ever thing you can do once you've decided to trade on Betfair is find a market to trade in. Find a solid trading strategy. Stick with it for at least a week to see if there's potential. If there is, master it, and you'll see the persistence paying back multiple times. Thanks for watching my video today, and let's talk to you tomorrow again when you'll hear about evaluating Betfair markets and see which sports are worth trading on and which not. Thanks for your time, and see you tomorrow.